I had Little Greg and Muhammad from the museum shop sit right there, man.
I watched it.
And and they say, man, when you came and spit, they say, and it's funny you said, man, I was dirty. I knew I was this and that. They say, man, who the fuck this nigga is, man? They said, you spit though. You changed everything they was thinking, man.
Yep. When I first met Greg and Muhammad, they was working with Wale at the time. Wale was just starting his own imprint, and he called it BOA, Board of Administration. Right. So when I won the talent show, going to the studio, naturally, Greg and Muhammad was there. They was very, very hands-on with Wale in the early part of his career. So when I met them, they was there. You know what I'm saying? I had always heard about them, but I never met them in person. You know what I'm saying? So to meet them, that was a milestone for me too. So it was all a coming to moment. Like I feel like when I pulled up to that studio, it was just me and my manager in the car. I'll never forget, before we got out the car, he was like, look, the way you walk in here, the way you talk in here, the way you rap in here, your whole, everything you ever worked for, it might be riding on this day. It could either go one or two ways. It could go really, 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 really good. It could go really, 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 really bad. So, and I never forget, I had on a black long sleeve thermal and some black 501 jeans and some Nike boots, and I had a bottle of Redberry Ciroc. Yeah. So I said, all right. I took my shirt off and walked in there. It was like, what's up? You hear me? Everybody looking like, So, you know, they see me from the open mic scene and how I perform and all that. And when I'm at the open mic, I'm usually with my producers, my manager, and that's it. Like, my homies from around my way wasn't at every open mic show. So when they met me, or when they see me perform, they see me with my producers and my manager. But when I walk in the studio, I'm with my niggas and I'm in my element. You know what I'm saying? And I'm ready to come in while they in here. I'm ready to come in and kill this shit. You know what I'm saying? I probably was off a couple E-pills. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Because that was what I was on back heavy. And I walked in that bitch, man. I said, oh, Greg and Muhammad in here too? Oh yeah, had some bras in here, some out the way Maryland joints. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, I'm about to cut up in here, man. I'm about to shit on everybody in here, man. You know what I'm saying? I just, man, drinking that Ciroc, I just killed that shit. And the rest was history. Like literally, after that day, literally the rest was history.
Right. Damn, that's big. I seen the interview comment that P made, a response she made. So I'm assuming whatever y'all did didn't come to fruition. But what did you learn? What you learn from being around Master P? Just the time you was around him.
What did I learn from being around Master P, man? I could say I learned a lot about the music industry and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like he took me around a lot of people in a lot of places. It was a lot that I learned, but for the most part, it was such a, how can I explain the time, man? Like, you know, I was young, living in LA, and I was just out there like by myself, really. You know what I'm saying? So I was really out there just rapping with all my homies who rapped out there. YG was popping at the time, Dom Kennedy, Problem, a lot of niggas from LA, man. Nip, I was rocking with Nipsey heavy. Menace from Compton, I was rocking with Menace heavy. So I was just out there really recording a lot, drugging a lot, chasing the broads, and just working hard. Every time I linked up with P, we was either recording or at a meeting or out to eat somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna lie and say I had like personal talks with P like me and Ross' relationship was. You know what I'm saying? Like it was basically like I was out LA and I was just doing me, working on my career, working, recording, rapping. And whenever P called, I knew I had to be there because I was out there for him. But he was really very hands off. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say that I learned a lot from him. Like that whole situation was just a weird situation. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You've been around the music business for a while. With all the knowledge you got and learned, and somebody gave you $20 million, you think you could run a successful record label?
If somebody gave me $20 million, do I think I could run a successful record label? Absolutely. Absolutely. With some mean ass talent from DC too, man. Man. Like if I had that opportunity right now, Slim, man, I'd take a couple youngers And man, we'd go cut the city in half, man.
Right, yeah. You got anybody in the area you think you would sign? And I know this is sometimes for me interviewing people, and this was crazy. And I learned for the mentor work I do, right? And I don't understand this generation either because it ain't me. But like just saying a dude's name that got tired of recognizing somebody, if they got some situation going on, they be mad you ever acknowledge that. So I preface that by saying, you can speak on who you would sign, the talent you see. If you don't want to get into saying no names, I ain't tripping on that. But who would you sign in a DMV area if you had that bag?
If I had that bag, man, who would I sign in the DMV area? It'll probably be I would have signed Baby J-Mo.
Okay.
I would have signed Baby J-Mo. Okay. Baby J-Mo hard, man. Who else? The dude Baby Joe from Virginia, man. He like that from Alexandria. Okay. Young nigga like that. He talk that talk and he stand up with the elites. Well respected in the city in Maryland, Virginia and all that. Who else? KP Skywalker. I signed KP Skywalker. Okay, you put it Shorty talk that talk, man, and it's real authentic. Right. Who else? Kai from Savannah. Okay. And I see Kai like Shorty, like he the heart of the South. He the heart of that young generation from the South. Oh yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Get it? Yeah, look him up. What's his name?
Kai.
Okay, I got Kai. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I see Kai, man. Shorty like that, man.
One of my favorites, Lil Nucci, man. What you think about Nucci?
Nucci.
You give him that bag?
Hell yeah, I get Nucci that bag. Nucci can rap his motherfucking ass off, man.
Different though, right?
Like, I love Nucci. Nucci got a different swag. You know what I'm saying? Like
different swag.
Nucci is a different swag, but Nucci got a mature swag, mature rap. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be at a certain level in life. I feel like, and this is my opinion, I'm only one person. Right. I feel like you got to be at a certain space in life to appreciate Nucci music. Notice I said appreciate and not understand, because you can understand somebody's music and still not relate to it. You can understand what this person is saying and his morals and goals, but you still don't relate to it. Like, a lot of that shit, man, I know that's what the youngest doing in the city, but I don't agree with that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Nucci, you got to be at a certain space in life to appreciate his music, because he catered to a certain type of man and woman. Right. You know what I'm saying? And like he next level, very advanced, and he a son of a OG hustler, Washingtonian. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure he had a lot of pressure on him growing up just because of who his father was. You know what I'm saying? And that could be hard. I don't know what that felt like. You know what I'm saying? So I always listen to what Nucci got to say, man, because I ain't gonna lie, I always listen to what Nucci got to say just because of who his father was and just because of who he is after I met him. You know what I'm saying? After I met him and I understood his mind state, I care about him and I care about what he rap about. So that's why I want to hear what he's saying. But before I even knew him, like, the fact that Boobie got a son and he rap, I still want to hear him because he Boobie's son. You know what I'm saying? I'm a real Washingtonian, so I definitely would have signed him.
Boobie was kind of, I think Boobie didn't have no problems. I think his only problem, he's before his time. You know what I'm saying? Back then, I just think he's before his time. You know what I'm saying? You know, so he had a lot of little flavor with him. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Since your success and everything you did, and you still growing, you looking for the, get to you going. What you think you contributed back to the DMV music?
I like to think like, not even just DMV music. We can talk about music, period, but DMV music. I like to think that motherfuckers wasn't talking nasty before I came around. You know what I'm saying? Niggas weren't really willing to be free with what they do with bitches behind closed doors until I came around. You know what I'm saying? So I think I like to contribute the confidence to rap about your sexual preference. I believe I contributed that to the DMV. And but you know what, man? I'm gonna keep it 100. Like, shout out to Boobie, Wale, Goretti, who else, man? Rated R. The list goes on. Uptown XO, all the rappers in the city who came before me. But I feel like when street niggas seen me make it, I feel like I gave the streets of Washington, D.C. real confidence to rap. Like, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the youngest will tell you that. And it's not like a bragging or glorifying moment. It's just like, I know what me making it did for the city. You know what I'm saying? Because people who really knew me, like, wow, Fool is on 106 and Pop. You know what I'm saying? Like, before Pt4of8 the rapper, like people know me as Fat Fool or Fool. You know what I'm saying? Like people real close to me, they call me Fool. Like man, it's Fool from the Pinnacles, like from East Street. When I did 106 in Park, when I did MTV Jams, when I did all that stuff, you know, the city was looking like, wow, man, Trel is really a rapper. Like that's when they started really considering me Trel. Like wow, you know what I'm saying? So I know that me making it was really big for the city.
Like you said, you spoke earlier about, you know, I wasn't, we didn't have a lot coming up. I was considered dirty, nigga. I was considered this. And believe it or not, in my estimate, thought in there, it was more people in that status than people, even the people that was you named, they might was that too. But when the cameras went on, they might have cleaned it up a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
But being those, you showed the vulnerability, and it was more relatable to how people was really living. Like, man, that nigga, I'm rough for me like that too. I can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, you know, even though like when you young and coming up, like I liked who I like as far as my music, like what I would listen to. But I'd be lying if I say I wasn't in the house paying attention to MTV. I watched Old Dirty Bastard. You know what I'm saying? I never forget seeing him on MTV, and he was in the back of the limo, and he had his food stamp card, and it was like a big rapper, but he was on some hood shit. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, I don't give a fuck if y'all, how much you say I just signed to such and such records for $36 million. Yeah, well, I got my food stamp card in the back of the limo. I'm riding through the trenches right now. I'm about to go grocery shopping off the food stamp. I was like, oh. Damn. Okay, so you could still rep the streets and have money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming up, I'm learning this. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I heard this line before where they say, good artists steal, great artists borrow, or something like that. I might got it mixed up. And when I was young and I heard it, I just thought it was a line in the movie. But the older I get, and you know, younger generation arrived, the generation before me and all that, I really know that that's true. You know what I'm saying? All the hit records you hear, it ain't nothing but sample music or the old music. And then when you go to and play their old music, Biggie and Pac and all them, they was sampling old music. You know what I'm saying? So good artists steal, great artists borrow. That's a real thing. So all my life coming up to be an artist, I always pick and chose what certain stuff I wanted to steal from. Whether I wanted to steal a Lil Wayne type of flow or Rick Ross type of flow or the Old Dirty Bastard attitude or the Heavy D sex appeal or you know what I'm saying? You mold that all into one thing and then you get this what you get, you know what I'm saying?
And everybody still just who admit it, who don't admit it.
Absolutely.
Everybody still, you know what I'm saying? That's what everything, you know what I'm saying? The clothes, the banners, all that. Niggas being Mars and Guy, Tyson's too looking and say, okay, I'm gonna take that. Move that line right there, change the car. It's all day, it's museum. Right?
Absolutely.
Everybody do it, you know what I'm saying? Some admit it don't, right?
Absolutely,
I
man.
get that. So give me your, what's your opinion, what's the difference between being independent and signing a label? What's the pros and cons with that?
The pros and cons, I would have to say, and it's just me, my personal opinion, I think the difference between being independent and signing to a label is like your freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you're independent, man, you do what the fuck you want. You drop when you want, you freestyle over whatever you want, and you do what the fuck you want. You know what I'm saying? You pay for your videos, the videographers, the models, and all that, versus if you with a label, you have a meeting about these things, you know what I'm saying? And we collectively agree. Or, you know, it depends on your situation. You might be with a label that let you do what you want to do and then you turn it into them at the end and then they switch around what they want to switch around and it's still a collect. Or you might be with a label where everybody hands on from start to finish. But the biggest thing to me is the difference between independent and signing with a label is freedom. Just dropping whenever you want and being more free to do what you want to do.
Okay.
Out the park, niggas know me. Curb on, little homie. All days. Been a road.
Thank you for watching Changing Jewels on Kirkbone TV. If you like the jewels that we are dropping, subscribe, hit the notification, and share with some friends. And I'll see you on the next episode of Changing Jewels, Kirkbone TV.